You got something to show us, Kenny?
Yeah, I do actually.
Oh,
I needed you guys because you're dads. And Brittany and I don't have kids yet. We want to get your reaction about something, okay?
She said, yeah,
So-
that's optimistic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It happens.
Doesn't just happen. Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
Good.
The two tallest men in the building currently.
My parents'
So
fault.
far.
So I've called you Keith because you're a father. Congratulations.
Started a long time ago.
And I called you Brad because you're not a father, but we still respect your opinion around here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I have this video. I'd like you to watch it from the perspective of a father, or maybe gifting it to a niece or nephew. Would you make this purchase for a child?
We're going to learn about daily affirmations.
What?
Amazing.
I think that this is, the most advanced kind of, technology there is.
Wow, it feels good to be out of the box. Missions are super important to me for learning to be a good friend. Grab the special sheet of paper and something to draw with.
When he gets frustrated, he'll pull out some of
It's a
those
real product that
positive
you could buy.
affirmations.
A daily affirmation is a nice thing you say about yourself every day. One brain twister coming right up. Now pick up your good list and say, I like myself and I deserve good friends.
I like myself.
I know, it's like we're so close to this whole AI
Doing
world.
affirmations can make you
People are
feel
gonna start
good
having
about
friends
yourself.
with robots, you know?
I want to show you guys something after this
We have
is
taught
done.
her about coping skills, but it was just that little friend of hers telling her, I have the power to make a difference in the world. Moxie. That was fun.
Watch out, world. This Moxie and its mentor are ready for anything.
But is it a friend?
Moxie.
Like, is it a real friend? You know what I mean? It's interesting that they use the word friend, because friend, if you look at what that root meaning of that word is, it means one who loves. A robot's not capable of that, right? So a robot can't really be a friend. That thing is programmed to do that. That's a one-way relationship right there.
Yeah.
So I think this just cheapens our human
Interesting.
relationships.
That's a good point.
Because you don't want them to learn that the important things they need to learn in life come from robots. You want them to learn that those things come to you, because when those hard moments come later on, where are they going to go? Are they going to go to the robot, or are they going to go to you?
Right.
And if they're used to going to the robot, it's just as easy to go to the internet and say, well, what does Google say? Like you're interacting with something that is programmed to give you a response or whatever.
Right.
Yep.
So if that's, to me, that's interesting. If you're having a psychological change in somebody, well then who's ever in control of the program, they can make you change to whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I can look at this both ways. It's kind of neat and fun, and it can, tell you to draw something or whatever. But at the same time, it's like I feel like we're being shifted to a world of isolation. Like when the pandemic and all this stuff happened, it's like stay at home, everything's Zoom, everything's artificial, and now it's like, oh, even your child's friend is a robot. And all these videos, you never saw more than one kid with it. It was just like one kid and the little robot with a camera on the head of the thing.
I thought you were going to ask where are the parents.
For the parents, I didn't. Yeah.
Did you
I mean,
the
that's
parents
a
in
good point too. It's like giving the kid the technology, and then the parents off doing something else, right? So now the
Babysitting.
technology's babysitting that child.
it? Right.
I think interacting with humans would be better than
A robot.
a robot, personally.
The parents said, I taught her about coping skills, but it was just that little special friend.
We have taught her about coping skills, but it was just that little friend of hers telling her, I have the power to make a difference in the world.
You think we need robots as humans to help us out with our social and emotional development?
Absolutely not. No.
Why not?
Robots are not going to teach you the intricacies of how to deal with other humans.
In schools across the US today, a lot of the focus is on academics and testing, and a lot of children are missing out on some of those skills that are important to help them learn how to make friends, how to regulate their emotions, things that are really important later in life that we're noticing that children aren't learning as much as they did several years ago.
In the educational system, it's challenging because you have one person generally in a room with, say, 30 kids. So, unless that teacher is really efficient, they're generally going to teach their style
Right.
and their way, which doesn't work for everybody.
True. So what are you saying? That robots should be incorporated in the classroom?
No, I'm saying maybe we need to train teachers better.
So it's like a learning tool.
I like technology, but I just think like blending an emotional bonding experience with a piece of technology, it's like people are already getting emotionally bonded to their phone.
Yeah.
And that thing's not talking to you, so to say. This is kind of inching one step closer to something I don't think is going to be added into a good direction.
Okay.
Yeah. They suck you in with the whole, it helps kids with this issue, because that's kind of the way the VR stuff is. It can help you overcome anxiety, and those are beneficial things, but this is just too close to like a friend replacement.
I think it's interesting too, because I know it's not true AI. So if all it's doing is giving words of affirmation. Let's take that example just for a second. It's giving generated words of affirmation. It might be interpreting the text, bringing it in and saying, hey, it's got keywords in it, verbs here, nouns here. Let's incorporate words of affirmation now. How do we know it's actually accurately giving those words of affirmation in the correct sense, at the correct time? I mean, it might be completely changing the child's way of thinking.
There's also models for affirmation. Like this is one model, and it's very self-focused.
Okay.
The child could get words of affirmation from the Bible if you taught them verses or gave them like a book of these are words of affirmation, and then they would learn that their self-worth is defined by God and not just defined by society or some robot or whatever. And that's very important to know where your affirmation and value comes from. I think the road that we're seeing is the one where you take social media and you see less human interaction, right? And so you go down that road far enough, and the next step is, man-machine interaction. And where does that road go? We don't know. I mean, that's a whole road of ethical can of worms.
Christians have been accused of holding back technology. How would you respond to that?
I mean, I can see why people would say that. So when it comes to technology, it will continue to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think where Christians are coming from is some components of technology have ethical components. And so then they're the ones putting on the brakes and saying, well, we can, but should we? And you even find out later in the civil realm, it's going to infringe upon people's rights, privacy, etc. So if somebody doesn't ask the question, then there's no limitation on where technology could go. So yeah, I think that's probably the big why, is somebody has to ask those kinds of questions. Should we? Is it moral? Is it right? Is it ethical? So if nobody does it, we wind up in a place that people could be very uncomfortable someday.
I think that constantly testing the waters with the public.
Does that remind you of a movie? Of the evil robot?
The artificial intelligence or iRobot?
There's that little robot that gets broken. Ron.
It has the wrong code.
Yeah,
Ron gone wrong.
Yeah, Ron gone wrong.
Really? You need a Bebot to have a social life?
Yeah, Dad, kind of. We don't need anyone else. I currently have one friend.
That is sad and also tragic.
The whole thing is embrace the brokenness. It's like, then everybody wants their robot to be broken. That's what
This literally reminds me of a Black Mirror episode that was featuring Miley Cyrus.
Am I going to be able to sleep at night?
Yes. The person who was her manager kind of drugged her, so she was in an induced coma for a long time, and then they put her consciousness into the doll that could read all of her thoughts and put songs together and stuff like that. So this was the Ashley 2 doll. A father bought that for his daughter because she was having a hard time since their mom died.
So there's multiple of these? You can just buy them? And
there's multiple, but it's basically like, it seems like Miley's talking to you. So it's like, Miley, how do you think about Ashley, what do you think about my outfit? And she'll be like, yeah, it looks great. And like all these other things, just like the one that you just showed us.
I think the whole technological blending is inching towards this way. So like they always foreshadow this stuff in the movies, and then this is really want it to go. They're trying to right now technologically figure out how to download your consciousness and put it on a robot. So that's interesting to me that they would put that in a story, because I think they're constantly testing the waters with the public. How are you going to react to this? What do you think about this? You know, and it's like, if people are just like, what, this is blasphemy or whatever, then you know, they're maybe not ready. Like as an adult, there's that movie Surrogates that was really talking about technology, and then like, you know, you can program this thing to go and be and do whatever you want, but there's no consequence to it. It always turns sexual. You know what I mean? So I think the metaverse sounds good, but you know it's going to just turn into, well, you can be as filthy as you want to, but there's not a consequence to that.
That is so weird, because literally when you grabbed me in here, I was watching a video it's a new video about these robots in Japan that they've figured out a way to make the skin, they're human life-size robots that look like women, and they figured out a way to make the skin warm inside and out. We've lived for thousands of years without robots and without phones and TVs, and yet people think, how can you live without technology?
Right.
Like, we did it thousands of years.
Relationship, intentionality, right? Spending time with your kids.
Yeah, and now is the time when you hear all the, we need to bring awareness to mental illness and all this. Why is there so much mental illness now, you know?
I remember taking psychology classes in college, and they would show you like, you know, even babies in the animal kingdom that weren't touched by their parents or mothers or whatever, and they would develop very strange, like, you know, anxiety and all sorts of weird phobias and things like that. So I wonder, what is this really doing in the long term? You know, you need the interaction of a real parent and real conversation, and you know, that's really I see as problematic. Is like, we should be pushing people to build the family unit, you know, not like divide them.
And we're living in a system where both parents usually have to have jobs. Their kids are raised by the school system and the babysitter, and then they rarely see the parents anyway. And then babysitters are probably going to use this.
I mean,
if how affordable it is. Let me see.
If the robot can cook and clean for you, and you know, take you to school and
save 20%. Oh, you could rent it.
Oh wow, you have to rent the thing.
Well, let's see if you can buy it.
$1,000.
Look how big it is.
But people probably go,
you can rent it for $150 a month.
But when you're going out to eat, you're not paying for the food. You're paying for the service.
There you go.
So it's the same with this kind of stuff. You're not paying for the tech. The parts are cheap. You're paying for the engineer's retirement.
Well, would you buy this for your kids?
No.
Yeah, I'd say no. That's a no for me, dog.
I think I'm hearing a unanimous no here. So thank you guys.
I'm not gonna buy it for my kid. I mean,
I wouldn't even. Yeah, I'm not. I'm kind of unsure about having a microphone in my house, let alone something that can speak back to me and teach my kid what to do.
Does that say 999 or 9999?
No, it's 3 9s.
Oh, and if you flip that upside down, I'm kidding.
You know what it is.
All right, thanks, guys. Here's the thing, we use technology all the time. It's usually not the tool that's the problem, it's how the tool is used.
Technology is useful, but robots used in this way blurs the lines between a tool and intimate relationship.
Yeah, okay, nothing beats or compares to human relationship.
Do you have an opinion about Moxie or human-robot friendships?
Oh no! We'll meet you guys in the comments below.